Predictions of a $34 billion renovation boom. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. I want to have a look at this article from news.com. $34 billion job boom for tradies. That's what's being predicted. Now let's look at a few things, everyone. Home builder. Tens of thousands of applicants received from $15,000 to contribute towards, building or renovating a house. Now, there's a whole lot of hippy-dippies that are arguing, they should have just spent that money for social housing. No, they don't give a crap about social housing. They don't even give a crap about people doing these renovations. All this was to keep money flowing through the economy. That's what it was. And housing is one of the most effective tools that our government can use to stimulate the economy. And, of course, it's everyone's favorite, and it's a vote winner. So for every 15 grand the government shells out, you have to spend, about 150 at least to get that 15 grand. And, what's the GST on that? Well, there you go, everyone. So it's a beautiful circle of money velocity. Now, if we have a look here at building approvals, you see that spike, the blue line at the top, that's houses. And that's home builder right there. So it's cooling back down. It's spiked. We're seeing a slowdown in it. So that's why I'm interested in this article, because it's predicting a boom for tradies. Because if anything, it should quieten down a little bit. So Aussies have saved thousands during lockdowns and are now looking to pump it into property improvements, sparking a massive tradie jobs boom. Aussies, cashed up from the pandemic, have led a surge in demand for home renovations amid an increase in working from home, prompting a predicted boom in tradie jobs in the next 6 months, which is worth a whopping $34 billion. Well, for tradies, hopefully this is accurate and it will prove true. Because, with home builder cooling off, you want something to take the gap. Although as someone who's in the middle of renovations, no, I don't want this to happen. Online services directory company HighPages has forecast the massive boom as families pump money they would have otherwise spent on travelling and entertainment into their properties. It found that 83% of Australians were saving an average of $1,183 per month during the COVID lockdown period, and around two-thirds of homeowners are planning to use these savings on home maintenance, improvements, repairs or renovations. The current demand for tradies in Australia was described as unprecedented by HighPages non-executive chair Chris Knolbunch at the company's AGM on Thursday. We have seen the continuation of Australia's burgeoning home improvement market, which with unprecedented levels of activity underpinned by long-term low interest rates, rising home values and strong household liquidity, he said. We continue to spend more time at home than we did before, and as property values continue to rise to record levels, discretionary spending on the home has increased in step. HighPage research found almost half of those surveyed plan to spend between $1,000 and $10,000 on home improvements in the next 6 months. With people rushing to get into the market in the past year, the ABS also found the value of residential building approvals between March and August this year totaled $48.5 billion. Many Aussies may also be on the hunt for a tradie to repair lockdown DIY fails. I shouldn't laugh at that. I would love a DIY tradie or a tradie to come and help me out with some stuff here. Just getting quotes, guys. It's a nightmare. Almost half of respondents had attempted to repair or renovate by themselves before seeking help from a tradie during lockdown, with 21% admitting they had to hire a tradie to fix their dodgy DIY, resulting in an average spend of nearly $3,000, $2,934. The biggest reason for renovating is most homeowners already love where they live and believe they can increase the value of their current home with improvements, with the kitchen and bathroom top priorities. However, 17% of those surveyed said lockdowns made them consider adding extra space to their home, such as a granny flat or an extension, and a quarter found lockdowns caused them to reconsider the layout of their home. So the construction sector is a ticking time bomb. While demand for construction remains strong in Australia, insolvency experts have warned the sector could be a ticking time bomb. Andrew Spring, partner at insolvency specialist Durst Sutherland, said the construction sector has traditionally accounted for a disproportionately high level of insolvency appointments and it's one that is of growing concern. The pandemic introduced circumstances which many construction contracts did not anticipate, he warned, including issues relating to supply of materials, delay on construction sites as a result of closures, and a reduced capacity of workers due to mandatory vaccination. Our fear is that these potentially terminal businesses may infect their directors, owners, employees, and stakeholders if action is not taken to address the financial imbalance, he said. While the pandemic has been a big contributor to the issues the sector is facing, they were apparent even before COVID-19. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, everyone, if that actually manifests. I was concerned that our insolvency rate would spike again and hit levels that they previously were, because our insolvencies were actually below where they should be because of all of the government money. But I mean, if people are making money, if cash flow is coming in, that's all that really matters for a lot of these businesses. If you can keep going. Infrastructure Australia has found that there had been a decline of 26% of contractors meeting their contractual obligations. Additionally, mandatory vaccination for construction workers significantly contributed to delays, which has impacted construction program and the potential liquidated damages being payable. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, liquidated damages they're not a punishment. They're meant to be the result of a reasonable cost. Could government mandates be considered an environmental factor outside of your control? That would be interesting. That's one we need to follow some of the court cases with liquidated damages on big projects. So billions of debt. Mr. Spring said the issues are apparent from the sector's share of the ATO debt attributed to small and medium enterprises, which was $21.4 billion at the end of 2020 financial year. 1/3 of the reported small and medium enterprises ATO tax debt in financial year 2020 was housed in the construction industry, he revealed. Unfortunately, when it comes to the issue of non-payment, construction's large-scale problems are very much prevalent, he said. Thousands of subcontractors have been forced into insolvency due to the domino effect of bad debt down the line when building and construction companies fail to pay. That's the nightmare of this sector, guys. As an architect, I've encountered it a few times. I've worked for large builders on the design and construct, and you get paid on their terms. If you kick up a ruckus, then you don't get any more work. So you've got to put up with it if you want the work from some of the big ones. Right now, I'm working with Fleetwood. They're really good. They pay no problems at all. Some of the other big ones have just been a nightmare. Just delays. Sometimes you have a project manager that'll just delay paying just for the sake of it. Or it's the account department. And that, for a small business, can be a nightmare if you push out. It could be even worse if they go under. For an architect, sure, my costs are labor, software hire, rents. It's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, it's painful when you don't get paid, but it will be much worse for a subby. Imagine if you bought all this stuff, put it in a site, and you can't take it out. And you're not gotten paid. You still got to make your mortgage, still got to pay your staff, still got to pay your rent, still got to pay your suppliers' costs. So yeah, it's a nightmare. So there's a reason why tradies charge what they charge, guys. While the ATO has taken a compassionate approach to its debt collection efforts during the past 19 months, that won't be the case forever, he added. In fact, the ATO is already starting to send letters to businesses that are behind in their tax, he noted. Nelson Aris Alvarez, special counsel at law firm Aiken McCaffrey, Cox added that the pandemic caught out contractors and subcontractors who accepted poorly negotiated contracts. Unable to meet contractual obligations, contractors and subcontractors have to wear the cost of COVID-19 in terms of cost and delay, he said. To make matters worse, in the aftermath of recent shutdowns, there's been an overreaction to risk allocation with many post-COVID-19 contracts. Contractors and subcontractors are asked to take an unrealistic risk, and the financial pressure in the aftermath of COVID-19 means these requests are being adhered to. Now, I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that. Where, we've had contracts put on the table to us for big jobs where, they're asking you to sign up to clauses which are complete bullshit, which are completely illegal. Under consumer protection law, they're asking you to guarantee or indemnify them for things which, as an architect, it's not even possible. Or there's other circumstances where you've signed a whole deal, you've got a contract in place, you've helped someone win a job, and then they come and say, oh no, your fee's this. then you've got to decide if you take it or if you walk away. Now, if you have enough FU money, if you have a different enough savings and money coming in, you're in a position where you can tell them to get stuffed. But if you don't, if you've got mouths to feed, if you've got people to keep going, that's a different situation. That's the fun part of running a business, guys, in construction. Maybe I should get people to share their dodgy stories in the comments below. That's one reason why one reason why I've scaled back the business, everyone. Well, it's just Rachel and me. Well, I just work from home, where I've cut all my costs down to the bone, so I don't need to work for dodgy bastards anymore. So, often companies in this industry fall behind due to one or two projects that overrun on cost and timing, with the losses eroding all working capital and create a proverbial rob Peter to pay Paul scenario, Mr. Spring explained. Identifying a potential problem early expands the options available for the business, ensuring that any financial contagion does not spread further than necessary, he said. So we've really got two things in this article. We've got predictions of a $34 billion job boom, and then a dire warning of a construction industry on the brink. Let's have a talk about this one. Now, honestly, this is the reality of the construction game, isn't it? It's feast or famine. When you're busy, you are just insanely busy. You're flat out. It's all guns blazing. One job appears after another job. Okay, you got to take people on there. You got to keep that moving. You got to keep plates going, or it's famine. That's just how it is. And there are always going to be people on the edge. There are always going to be contractors on the edge. You got to watch for it. As someone in a small business, you've got to budget and manage your personal and business finances differently to a normal person, differently to an employee. You've got to plan out a year ahead. You've got to plan out having stashed away next year's taxes. That's just how you've got to do it, guys. So we'll have to see. Hopefully there is this huge billions of dollars of money sitting there that people will invest in their housing, and it will, take up the drop-off of home builder. We'll have to see, everyone. We'll have to see. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching that video. I want you to have a look at this video about just the home builder program and just how much money was spent on it. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's not? Would you rather have had social housing? Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.